So the second area that we want to do within creating space, okay, and how to do that using pi is to create mobility. This is just another way of saying momentum. We want to create momentum in our life as well, okay? And in order to do that, we have to keep mobile and do stuff, all right? Um, and this is where it is a need to take action. I had an opportunity last year. It was around, actually, it was a year ago. Yeah, it was around December. I just had a student from the university just asking some questions regarding social media and the relation to social anxiety. And, we were just talking about just media and technology. And I was talking about how, the overuse of, the iPhone, iPads, technology. And just out of pure accident, I came up with, what happens is when we use too much technology all the time, and that's all we're doing, and some of it sometimes could be because of numbing just the pain and the circumstances that we're dealing with. But as we're dealing with our iPhones, we become immobile. And I realized, oh, that's funny, immobile. So that's kind of the idea with that. And so the question is when you hear me talk about this, are you getting a sense in yourself? Where am I at in this? Am I immobile in dealing with the circumstances? Do I have friends or family members that are currently immobile? They're immobile in what they're doing. They have an immobility to be able to get up and do stuff. Okay. And so one of the things I like to add at this part in our talk today is that this is very important to take action, because by taking action, it helps us keep away from what is known as the fight or flight feelings that we have during uncertainty. Okay. If I were to take my fingers and go in my ears and go all the way to the center, kind of just right behind my nose and eye area, there's this little dude called the amygdala that's connected to the limbic system. This thing called the amygdala is the part of the brain that is basically what's known as the fight, flight, freeze response. Okay. And oftentimes in uncertainty, and we're definitely, in my opinion, seeing this in today with a lot of the polarizing issues that are out in today's topics within the world today, we're seeing people who just, I don't know what to do. I'm frozen. I'm stuck. We see people who are running away. I just want to hide. Just get me out of here. Then we got people who are fighting. Oh, no, we got to deal with this. Those are different emotional reactions that's coming from that little thing called the amygdala. And from a healthy perspective, by creating healthy mobility within our life, taking healthy action, this allows us then to be able to help regulate that fight, flight, freeze feeling that we sometimes get in us when we're dealing with uncertainty. So some of the things that we can do in order to deal with this uncertainty is just using your body, being in connection with yourself, and doing positive things, okay? Like cooking meals, building things, whether it's building things yourself, hobbies, building things with family members, with your family, uh, taking care of your children, even just doing activities, just doing things, being present within your home. These are just different actions that we can take that will help us emotionally and mentally, but it also helps us to keep mobile in doing things. So, one of the things, though, that happens out of uncertainty, of course, and the more uncertain we have, depending, everyone's wired and has different stories and different circumstances that happen, is that ultimately that word, whether you want to call it anxiety or whether it's a different variation, which is like depression, ultimately these are feelings that we call stuck, getting stuck. I just feel stuck. I don't know how to move from where I'm at. I love what you're saying, Jeremiah. I want to create mobility in my life, but I'm just so stuck. What do I do? Okay. Well, if you're stuck, and really one of the things I encourage and share, and I've got a couple other colleagues that's kind of our message that we share with people, is that you sometimes just have to get up and take 2 steps forward. Okay, so that's really the theme of that mobility. Get up, take 2 steps forward. Okay, so what's a practical example? All right, let's say you're a person or you know of someone who is in bed. I just can't get out of bed. Oh my gosh, they just shut my business down again. What am I going to do? Oh my gosh, this is horrible. And I'm just stuck. What's the point? I'm just going to lay in bed all day. Okay. But then you realize, yeah, I need to get mobile. What do I do? How do I move on from that? Well, very practically, okay, one of the things you can do, as I said before, is get up and take steps forward. So I'm not kidding. I mean, if that's you and you're having a hard time even just getting out of bed, be very practical. Maybe take a giant glass of water, which I'm about to do here. Drink a ton of water before you go to bed. Because what's going to happen in the morning? You're going to have to get up. I got to go to the bathroom, but I want to stay in bed. Those are creative ways, I should say, to get up and keep yourself moving forward. So I get up, fine. I have to go to the washroom. Go to the washroom, and I'm done. Well, I'm up. Well, maybe obviously I'll wash my hands. So I'll wash my hands. All right, done washing my hands. Well, maybe now that I've washed my hands, I'll splash some cold water on my face, kind of wake up a little bit, wash my face. Well, I might as well fix my hair a little bit, get it all good looking and stuff. Well, and while I'm up, maybe I'll get dressed. See, what's happening when we do those kind of actions is they're taking small steps at a time, but they're practical steps that create a chain reaction of events. All right. So literally, even if it's a situation where it's like, well, hey, what did you do today? Well, I got up, I got dressed, I went outside for a bit, enjoyed the sunrise, or enjoyed the sun for a little bit, and then I went back to bed. Okay, well, what did you do before last week? I just lied in bed all day. Yeah, well, that's a good thing. Those are areas that you can recognize that you're taking momentum in. All right. Now that is more of what's considered a clinical diagnosis of depression, for those who are legitimately very much struggling in dealing with that. Okay. And that is where oftentimes then, I or other colleagues will see and support individuals with deep, severe depression. But even through this time, through the pandemic, there's a lot of situations that can happen that just create us feeling stuck, So even practical things, when you're at home doing things, man, get up occasionally, take your break, go outside, get some fresh air, take up, get up, take 2 steps forward, do something different, do something within your routine and normalcy to be able to then help mobility in what you're doing. Okay. Beyond that, I do want to talk about another area of mobility in the area of, and I'm just seeing my time here. If it's okay, I'm just kind of almost done, but I just want to focus on this area and then we'll kind of wrap things up. And then if there's any questions, we can definitely do that. So out of this is a concept I call flexible. Again, at the beginning of the presentation, that's the title, it's that flexibility, okay? Flexible goal setting is one of the areas I want to talk about. Coming up to the end of the year, New Year's starting up in about, I don't know, a week and a half, 2 years, I guess. So wait, no, Wednesday, Thursday. So 2 weeks from now, it'll be a new year, okay, and a day or two. 2 weeks and 2 days, it'll be a new year. Well, that, of course, as you know, during the new year, is when the traditional, well, let's make my New Year's resolution. Okay, great. But for those of you who do understand actual goal setting, this is very important. And it's not just ordinary goal setting I'm talking about, it's flexible goal setting. Okay. And if anyone has learned anything this year, or if we're struggling, I want to encourage you within your goal setting. If you've had goals that are just not working anymore, then I want to really encourage you to create flexible goals this year. Okay. Whether you have a short term, whether it's like a 1 month or up to a year, which is generally considered short term goals, be flexible within it because maybe you're going to have to. Maybe you have a personal goal. I have a goal of traveling to this other country. Well, it might not be, all right, this year. Okay. Just with how you had hoped and things were. So you might need to be flexible and pop it in your 2 to 5 year goal, into your midterm goal. Maybe maybe you were on like a year 4 of a 5-year goal, and this year completely demolished everything or it shifted everything. Well, you might have to be flexible and shift into your long-term goal of a 5 to 10-year goal. All right. And then out of that, I always want to encourage people as well. If you are going to get serious and do some different flexible goal setting this year, always make sure, and this is just some of the work that comes out of the leadership uh, leadership management business guru called Jim Collins. Jim Collins talks about what's your BHAG. He's always talking about what's your BHAG, all right? What's your big, hairy, audacious goal? Okay. It's that thing where if this happens, that would be a total miracle. This is probably beyond 10 years, but hey, we're going for it. What's your BHAG? What's your big, hairy, audacious goal? Because you never know. Maybe it'll happen. And that's one of the interesting things that, well, in my opinion, the media is certainly forgetting to encourage and demonstrate is that there are those, although people are struggling within the pandemic, and I do not want in any ways want to minimize what's going on right now, all right, with everything within the worldwide pandemic. But there are those who have been inspired, have had ideas that have actually started new businesses. I mean, businesses just haven't stopped. There are new businesses even starting today. Okay. I know of a business that started about 2, 3 weeks ago, just of someone that I know. And they're like, oh, I got an idea. There's a need. They found that need, got their sole proprietorship, started their business. Wow, good on them. They're not getting stuck. They're taking momentum and doing the best of what they've got to take control of their environment and situation and circumstance. Okay.